I'm going to welcome y'all to the regular County Commission meeting. Today is January 7th. It's 10 o'clock. We've got our invocation is going to be by Mr. Steve Fairley from the Summerdale Assembly of God. And after that, I'm going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor.
I want to say one thing before we get started, and that I want to just thank y'all. You know, sometimes this is a thankless job, so to speak, and people can be ugly. You know, I was told when I first started ministering that sheep bite and people bite. And so I want to thank y'all for being willing to stand in and take it. You know, government is by God. And so when people come against you, they actually come against God according to Scripture. Amen. So let's pray this morning. Father, I thank you for these men and women that have stood in place to do what you've called them to do. And Lord, it isn't easy. It isn't always easy. But God, I ask, Lord, that you would give them strength, that God, you would give them discernment, that God, that you would give them the wisdom that they need to carry out the business that you placed in their hands. God, I ask for your protection, Lord, over not only their health, Lord, their physical being, but God, their emotional being and their spiritual being as well. God, I just thank you and praise you, God, that we're still in a country, Lord, that we have this opportunity to do what we're doing right here. That God, not only can we pray and be led of you, but God, that we can come together as people and rule ourselves. And Lord, we thank you and we praise you for that and give you glory and honor in this place. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. All right. First thing that we have is the adoption of the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the December the 17th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
All right, I have a motion.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. All right. Let's see. Community reports. Payment of the bills, Commissioner.
Make a motion that we pay the bills.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the bills? Hearing none. All in favor signifying by saying aye. Aye. All right, B82 is just notification of interim payments. It's just protocol, and then we go to consent.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as discussed in the work session.
Second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the consent? Hearing none. All in favor by signifying by saying aye. Aye. All right. We go to presentations. First one is up is the coroner's office. Oh, Mr. Coroner.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I appreciate your time and listening to the annual report this year. I think this is the 8th annual report I've given to the commission, starting back when I worked with Stan. So I won't bore you with a lot of statistics, but I wanted to keep y'all updated on what's going on with the coroner's office. Little background information, Baldwin County's huge. I think everyone knows that. It's greater than 2,000 square miles. We had approximately 260,000 residents last fiscal year, as well as 7.5 million tourists to our area. 2,374 lives were lost in our county last year, with 1,005 of those being reported through our office. 320 of those were hospice, 44 were deemed non-coroner cases, and we did accept 641 met our criteria for further investigation. That would have been one of 3 tiers. First tier would have been basic medical record review. Second tier is external exam and toxicology. And of course, the third tier would be a full postmortem exam performed by the Alabama Department of Forensics over in Mobile. Last fiscal year, the fentanyl crisis continues in our county. It is an issue, as well as population growth countywide. Sheer volume is a metric of our work. And our biggest challenge is, of course, facility and workspace and mass fatality event. Unfortunately, May 11th of last year in Stockton, Alabama, we had an opportunity that did result in a mass casualty event. Luckily, we only had 3 fatalities out of that event, but 17 people were injured or shot during that event, which that did raise a lot of eyebrows, at least within my agency. The strategic goal in 2020 that was set forth by this commission was, of course, coroner's office expansion, and that was by 2025 that we would experience a coroner's office that's better aligned with our county's functional population and able to handle a mass fatality event. This is the team that is in charge. I am the lead with my chief deputy, Troy Dice. Reached out to the sheriff. He's no longer on this team at this time. He'll reappoint someone. Tom Tyler with EMA, and of course Beth Hodges with budget. So what have we done this year to prepare us and to meet the strategic goal? The first thing is we acquired a Randox multi-stat drug analyzer. This is to deal with that fentanyl crisis, and I'll go over more of that in a minute. But with this machine, we can identify 29 drugs of abuse, including fentanyl and xylazine. Second, I assumed a position with SMORT 3. This is to stabilize our mass fatality response. SMORT 3 is a section of the state east or west of I-65 up to Tuscaloosa south. And I'll show you a map of that in a moment. Oh, sorry. I continue to speak with state partners on funding for our Baldwin County Forensics building, the needed facilities that we are requesting. And I was appointed by Governor Ivey to serve on the Alabama Coroners Training Commission. This is training for all coroners in the state of Alabama, and I sit as chairman on that board, on that commission. We also established jurisdiction of cases originating in Baldwin County. That was not the case until this year. Many cases that occur here are flown out to either Mobile or Pensacola. This is because of we don't have a major trauma center in Baldwin County. Why is this important? This is to assist our district attorney's office in prosecuting cases. Cases with charges pending are much easier to pursue when the pathologist is from Alabama. It's easier for them to get in evidence and information. Second, we hosted a 2-day child death reenactment course for law enforcement and our ER hospital staff for them to notice what we see with death with children. This is also the second year we hosted interns from the University of South Alabama. That was their Anthropology Forensic Science Division. It's a very successful program, and we look forward to continuing that. We hosted our first ever Citizens Coroners Academy. That was 4 nights, and we'll go over that in a second. And we had field trips for our youth to our office. Now, why was that important to come to the coroner's office? It's so they understand choices have consequences. In these days of drugs, they need to understand what they're doing. And I think it was well received by the kids, and they have got something out of it, and we'll have some photos in a second. This is the Randox. It's basically a little larger than a microwave. All right, our forensics in the state use this as well, but we can identify 29 drugs of abuse with a blood test. We're able to quantify that, and we still use the forensics of the state to confirm and look for new and novel drugs. However, this gives us a better product, yielding a faster result, quicker decision points for our law enforcement. Since June of us acquiring this, we have made 6 arrests on drug dealers for manslaughter cases in the county. This is a big step forward, and I'm proud to see that we're leading Alabama in this. It also allows us to release decedents faster, so we get fewer transports out of the county, saving money for the taxpayers. Not only that, we were using an outside lab before at $400 a test. This new machine only costs $40. So it's a huge cost savings, and we get a better product for that. This is SMORT map. You can't hardly see where we're outlined, but we are Tuscaloosa, south and west. That is our area. I serve as incident commander for that SMORT so that we could be plugged into the state's response on mass fatality and know what assets we do have at our disposal. The governor appointed me to the Alabama Coroners Training Commission. The purpose of this commission is to make sure that coroners and deputy coroners are properly trained to perform their duties. We are continuing to work on this. It's a 7-member commission with appointments from the Attorney General, the Director of Forensics, and the Coroners Association. We did have 20 participants last year in our Coroner Citizens Academy. It was 4 nights of instruction so they can understand the role of the coroner and the responsibilities of the office and how we relate to our other community partners in carrying out our duties. The district attorney's office, crime scene, Legacy of Hope for the organ tissue donation, all these other community partners that we do work with. These are some of the students, the STEM students from some of the local high schools came out to visit and look at educational opportunities, as well as youth reach. Some of our more troubled youth came out so they could understand what their consequences could be if they follow certain paths. My office, this is my staff. My chief investigator is Troy Dias. He's in charge of all our investigations. We had 2 full-time death investigators, and we have 4 part-time deputy coroners that assist us with investigations. Administration is headed by my executive assistant, Brandy Bird, and Shanna Bonner also serves in the office as an administrative support staff. This is the trend, I don't know if you can hardly see it here, of the last 6 years since I've been in office. This was our largest number of deaths reported, 685 out of the 2,374. But you can see the upward trend, and as long as the population continues to grow, that upward trend will continue to grow. These are our transportation fatalities. We had 22 of those last year. I believe 12 involved motor vehicles. We had 4, I believe, were motorcycles, and 6 were pedestrians that were struck along our roadways. The biggest takeaway from this is part of our accreditation, so I always include it, is over half of these fatalities were the result of drugs or alcohol. So operating motor vehicles or walking down the road intoxicated or high, you have a higher chance of death. Suicide numbers remain fairly steady over the past year. I think we had 48. The largest, I can't quite read it from here, I believe we had 30 gunshot wounds, 14 hangings, and 4 overdoses were the result of those suicides. I've made the statement before because of fentanyl that drug overdoses overtook Baldwin County as the most common unnatural form of death. And that happened in 2020 when fentanyl came onto the scene. You can see here comparing it to suicides where fentanyl overdoses certainly were higher. Now, we've seen a slight decrease this past year. I give much of the credit to our law enforcement agencies and narcotics for really actively pursuing these cases and trying to curb the poison that's coming to our communities. This is cases by agency. We worked over 200 cases alone without any law enforcement involvement. Sheriff's Office, of course, worked the next highest at 149, and then we have Foley, Fairhope, Daphne, and you can see the different municipalities that have fatalities in there, that coroner cases, not just fatalities, but coroner cases in their areas. So of the 685 cases that were called in for service, 641 were deemed to be coroner cases, 44 were non-coroner. What does that mean? We push those back to the medical doctors in charge of the individual. They know more about the patient than we do. And so 44 didn't require any further investigation from us. We took custody of over 391 bodies. 185 of those were sent for autopsy or medical examiner opinion over in Mobile. And we responded to 193 death scenes for investigation. We worked with the Council on Aging with 20 county cremations or indigent or unclaimed bodies. We also assisted our Legacy of Hope with 198 tissue donations. They do those in our office, and we're happy to assist them making something better out of a tragic situation. Another important point that keeps showing up is 68 of our 685 cases were non-residents. These were visitors to our area, tourists. Basic breakdown over the past 6 years of just our number of cases, natural deaths, which tend to hold fairly steady, drownings, and blunt force trauma. Blunt force trauma is typically going to be motor vehicle accidents. Occasionally those are fall from height, situation, or assaults. Just boring statistics. Overdose deaths over the past 6 years, again, we can see they kind of peaked out. Hopefully we'll continue to see a downward trend. We only had 56 this past fiscal year. Still greater than 50% of those were fentanyl related. This is the age of the decedents with fentanyl. The biggest age group, of course, is 30 to 50, roughly. Homicide cases were down from the previous year. The previous year was a record year. We had 20 homicides in '23. This past year, we had 11. Our caseload history, going back to 2010, we can see the progression, and if we look forward this next year, we can expect around 750, and by 2030, we'll be looking at 893. That's just based on the growth of the previous 10 years. Just looking forward. So where does all this magic happen at? It's at the coroner's office. This is our current office in March of this year. It's a 1,500 square foot building with two 20-foot Connex containers and a modular office space there that we added last November, just for some office or desk space for the staff. This is the building we've been working toward since 2022. This is a joint project with the Sheriff's Office, Baldwin County Forensics, would house half of the crime scene unit of the Sheriff's Office, as well as the Coroner's Office and morgue. And that was the budget the Commission asked me to revisit in August of last year. In that 2 years, it did increase by approximately $1 million. So what's next for the coroner's office? Adding forensic services. We've already added the on-site drug surveillance, which with the Randox multi-stat, documentation of injuries, x-ray, portable x-ray would be something we'd be looking toward. Facilities, of course, appropriate cooler space for our population and for fatality management, desk space for workers, and clinic space for caseload. The whole idea would be to improve our product, giving us faster results and faster reunifications with the families of their loved ones. We can also reduce some of the burden to the taxpayer by reducing the number of transports out of the county, and of course, expanding our contracts with Legacy of Hope for additional revenues to the county. The regional concept, of course, well, I've been talking with our state partners for Southwest Alabama, is to share the cost of the resources with other community partners to work to serve other Gulf Coast counties and communities with these rectifications. So, any questions?
Oh, I do. How fast can you get those blood test results with your Randox?
Once they come in our office, we can get them in 1 hour. The machine takes 33 minutes. It takes about 30 minutes to prep the blood sample. Once we receive it, we bring them back to the office, take the blood sample, we prep the blood sample, 33 minutes, we get a report.
That's really good.
That's good, yeah.
The $400 test was taken 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for $40, we're actually entering some talks with toxicology, forensics, about being part of their study, some of their research studies with our data. Not doing anything special, just including our data, so make sure we keep it appropriate. This should really help get some of these pushers off our streets. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
Great job.
Pastor hit it on the nail. I mean, he told us we had thankless jobs, but he has no idea. You have a job nobody even knows about and understands until you come up here and do a presentation like that, and what you have to deal with every single day and see every single day, and your staff and go to bed with every night is, I kind of volunteered a little bit with y'all myself, so I had the choice to quit. So,
my staff are certainly the rock stars, and I give them all the credit.
So we appreciate everything you do, and we look forward to the future of the coroner's office, and hopefully one of these days getting that facility up and going.
Yeah, that's right. Kip, you got anything, sir?
No, just thank you, for the service, that you provide for our citizens,
Okay, and I would just like to finish with a statement, if I can. About where we've been. Since taking office in 2019, my priority has been to prepare the coroner's office. And with the help of this commission, I feel like I've done that. We have pushed for advanced training. My staff is prepared. They're knowledgeable. They're caring. And they can address most families' concerns knowledgeably and on one of the most unexpected, tragic days of that family's life. They didn't expect to talk to the coroner. Nobody wakes up expecting to talk with the coroner. But I'm going to tell you, I've had several sleepless nights and some frustration. Because the failure for us to prepare for the future will result in hardships for families. They're going to become disillusioned with the process, and they're going to start questioning the answers they receive. Yeah. I just don't want the stimulus for the change in moving forward to be a catastrophe.
That's right.
So I'd just like to leave y'all with that.
And I'd like to say something, Doctor, is that, for you doing this for this annual report, thank you for doing that. Letting us, the citizens know and the commission know what's going on. And I'm like with Commissioner Ball, I'm hoping soon we can do something for you to help you with your complex. So I'm hoping we can.
Okay.
So thank you.
I want to also just say that you've come a long way, and that was your
Yes.
goal, and it's measurable goals. I mean, unfortunately, as our population expands, that number is going to go up. Just that's human nature. I mean, but some of those numbers, though, gave me a reassurance that we still live in the best place in this state, because as big as we're growing, to not have more homicides than that and different things like that. So it's still a great, safe place to live. And what you're doing, though, is you didn't have to. And that's why I want to say thank you.
Yeah.
You could have just done what everybody's done, status quo. But, and I'm not putting anything off on anybody in the past, because I don't know what they did. But I've seen what you have done over the past, we all took off at the same time, basically. And you've done a great job. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're going to do our best to figure out a way.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks, Doc.
All right. Next is employees of the quarter. Deidre?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am once again honored to be able to present Employees of the Quarter for the third quarter. I'm a quarter behind. I do apologize for that. For the third quarter of 2024. Our Employee of the Quarter program offers an opportunity for all employees within the county to recognize their peers, as well as for the public to be able to recognize an employee that has given exceptional service and have gone above and beyond. Today, we have 7 employees that are being recognized, which to me says a lot. We have a mixture of the public that has nominated these employees, as well as internal employees as well. And so I'll keep my speech short because we have several to go today. So first up, in the Personnel Department, we have Brittany Shealy. So I'll give you this. So Brittany was nominated by an internal supervisor, and her words were, Brittany, in everything that she does, goes above and beyond. And that holds true in every single thing that Brittany does. No matter what it is, if you call her and ask her a question, you are going to get an answer. There's going to be no stone left unturned. And if she doesn't know the answer, she's going to give it to you. And I cannot praise her enough for the accomplishments that she has accomplished. For those that are employees, supervisors, commissioners, if you've ever attended one of our health fairs, she plans all of that herself, minimal help from our part in planning it, as well as our Family Fun Day, which is a huge event that we have had. This will be our 3rd or 4th one this year. Chili cook-off. She plans every single aspect of that. I can't take any credit. We give all the credit to her. She is one of the hardest workers I've ever met. And so this award is very well deserved. So we'll give her a round of applause.
So what do we do?
Go
A
ahead.
woman of little words.
How are we
Get pictures?
going to do pictures?
Yeah,
Are we going to do them all at the
We'll
end?
do the pictures at the end.
Okay.
So all those that are receiving awards, if you'll just hold tight, and we'll have one big group picture at the end.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany.
Make it easy.
Next, with the Fairhope Courthouse, the custodial department, we have Rhonda Boutwell to present Della Marsh. And I will say, with Miss Marsh, you can come on up here, we received 8 nominations for her. So I'm pretty sure everyone that works at the Foley Courthouse took a part in nominating her, which
Wow.
seems very, very well deserved.
And I was one of the speak on her behalf. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioners, Happy New Year. Della's consistent hard work and her creativity and team spirit earned her the Employee of the Quarter. She pays attention to detail and she takes pride in her work. Della listens to the staff's needs and provides a very clean workspace with a positive attitude and a smile on her face. Della takes pride in her work and is mindful of the staff while they are working. The staff thanked her numerous times, and her response, "I'm just doing my job. I love my job." Della is very humble. She is a valuable member of the custodial department, and Della is a true asset to the Baldwin County Satellite Courthouse in Foley.
Next, with the animal shelter, we have Wesley to present Martin Martinez.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Sorry, I got a little cold, so my voice is a little off. So Martin was nominated. He really helps out around the shelter. He started out as a kennel tech. He's moved up to senior kennel tech, and since taking that position, he's really embraced it, changing some functions we do day to day to help with the animals and also the staff. One of the biggest things he does for the office and also the ACOs, he speaks Spanish, so that helps us out tremendously. He's even helped us make pamphlets for the ACOs to hand out, just to, let the community know what we're doing. But that's why he was nominated for this.
All right.
Good job.
Next, with the Finance and Accounting Department, Roger Rendelman will be presenting for Christy Bezwari.
I don't see Christy.
She's right there.
Yeah, she in the back?
Come on,
Oh, that's right, she's short.
Smile.
She bite.
Come on, I know you ain't shy.
I'm going to kind of sum up what was submitted, but basically, this is from one of our younger staff members that submitted because she said Christy is a very strong mentor. She's doing everything. She will not hesitate to teach and willing to assist in learning the way to do her job. Also understanding work-life balance and really working with this particular person. And this is the most impressive thing to me is because I don't think I've heard anybody under 25 say anything like this. Is she is the main reason why this person can actually say they wholeheartedly can say they love where they work.
Wow.
So that's saying a lot. We know about the whole generational thing and stuff like that, but it's nice to know that we have people on our staff that are mentoring our young staff, and hopefully they'll look at this being a long-term career, not just a stop. So we appreciate that. And I'm also going to add, we all should, everybody who receives a pay from Baldwin County should appreciate Christy, her staff, and B2 that happens to be here. They're the ones that make sure we get paid every 2 weeks, like clockwork. And since I've been here, as far as I know, we have not missed a payroll, so let's keep that up. But that's because I know how much she sweats over it. I check on them sometime during payroll, and she'll be stressing out a little bit, but her and her team get it done every time, so we definitely should appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Christy.
Definitely important people that complete payroll.
Yes.
All right, so next with our Highway Department, we have Mark Ackerman, and he is going to present to Patty Jones and DJ White. This one's Patty, this one's DJ.
Thank you. So Patty Jones is our operating support specialist too at the Area 100 barn. She is the heart and soul of that barn, loved by all, nominated by her peers. She is instrumental in providing the customer service that we expect for all of our residents in North Baldwin County, and usually is the first point of contact when they call in and need assistance with a problem that we can provide a solution for. So we're very proud of Patty and her smile and her positive attitude and always wanting to help others and help her coworkers, and that's why she was nominated today. And I was going to ask Adam if he'd like to come up and say a few words. This is Adam. He is the superintendent for the Area 100 barn, and Patty's immediate supervisor. Here you go, Patty.
Thank you, Mark.
I've only been working with Patty for about a month, give or take a little bit, and first impressions are a lot, and she has a great work ethic. She's a very kind person, and I think she's very deserving of this nomination and reward.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to work with a great group of people. Being an outsider coming in to Baldwin County, working with the Highway Department, everyone has been very welcoming and has helped me learn a lot about Baldwin County, and I'm appreciative of everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So next up, we have DJ White. He is the newly appointed county fleet manager. So he started with us as the fleet manager for the highway department and has done such a phenomenal job of maintaining our equipment and vehicles and making sure that that the property maintained and the record keeping that he keeps for the highway department now is extending for the whole county. Preventive maintenance, knowing when to go to surplus these pieces of equipment to maximize the amount we can get for them. And that investment in turn helps pay for the capital outlay every year. We have a substantial amount of money we have come back on our equipment, and he keeps up not only with when to surplus our equipment and vehicles, but also what's the market wanting, what's the market looking for. And so what that does, it allows our employees and now multiple departments to have the best possible vehicles and equipment and the safest possible vehicles and equipment as they serve the residents of Baldwin County. We could not be more proud of DJ's new opportunity to take what he's done for the highway department and expand it throughout the whole county. And I've asked Linda if she would like to come up, and this is DJ's immediate supervisor and one of the people that nominated him for this award.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd just like to say that although DJ has just recently been put under my supervision, he has always worked very closely with the highway accounting team. He does an exceptional job, and I expect that moving forward in his new role. I just want to congratulate him. He is very deserving of this, and we are blessed to have him on our team.
I just want to say thank you. This was a surprise on Friday when I found out. But we do have a great team at the highway department. It makes my job easy to work with great people. And I just love to come and just do my job. So thank you.
Yeah.
And last, but certainly not least, with the probate office, we have Dean Mott to present with Sarah Reynolds, for Sarah Reynolds. Congratulations.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Commission staff, fellow citizens. It's Judge Jolie sends his regards. He's got 8 hearings this morning, and so he asked me to come over and make this presentation, and it is my honor to make this presentation to probate's third quarter employee, Miss Sarah Reynolds. Sarah has been with us a little over 4 years now and has already been promoted to trainer. So she's doing an outstanding job for us, and it's not out of character for Sarah to go above and beyond, but it's this particular letter that we received, or Judge Jolie received, that really set her above to be nominated for this quarter. And this is a letter that was received recently, and it says, "Dear Sir, this letter is sent to recognize the outstanding effort beyond the call of duty of an employee, Sarah Reynolds, correcting the lost record of a special military vehicle license tag received during the late 1990s. This special tag was awarded to the Alabama State Defense Commander, Major General, with statewide responsibilities. This lifetime award has been awarded every year until this year due to record loss. Proof was difficult, but due to the concern of Sarah Reynolds and a few others, the record is corrected for this highly important award. And this was received from Colonel James L. Horak, Senior, retired U.S. Army Special Forces, also retired Major General from the Alabama State Defense Force Command. So Colonel Horak had over 40 years of military service and took the time. He's 94 years old and couldn't be here today. We did extend an invitation to him, but he did express his appreciation to Sarah. Probate is very fortunate to have some great employees. Sarah is one of those, and we're continuing to expect great things out of her. And so congratulations, Sarah, and we hope to see a lot more.
Thank you for the award, and I look forward to my role as the new probate training coordinator. So.
Well, good deal. Congratulations.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I had the individual that nominated Sarah asked me to say a few words on his behalf. He couldn't be here today, but he wanted to thank her because, you know, he's one of our military veterans, and being the defense commander for the state of Alabama was very important to him. You know, it was his heart and soul, and it didn't mean a whole lot. But he's had a tag that says Alabama State Defense Commander, and he's had it, golly, since the '90s. And now all of a sudden it was lost, and he kind of felt like, golly, now I'm being, you know, kind of forgotten, you know. But Sarah was able to dig through the records and everything else and find out that it was a tag that could be issued. And he was so proud of that, and he just was ecstatic, you know, of having, you know, somebody that would take that much time to help him as a veteran. So he wanted to thank you so very much for what you did. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So we'll take a picture with the commissioners. If y'all can come down and the recipients come up, we'll give them one last round of applause.
Stay up here.
Yeah.
Since there's that many of them.
It's up to you.
I'm short anyway, so. Come on, Christy. Come on, Christy. Come on, Christy. Come on, Christy. Hey, what do you think I do?
He has to stand by me.
You know, school?
What about us, Taylor, in the back?
I'm sure.
I'm good, Christy.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank
so
y'all.
much. We appreciate you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Don't feel bad. I'm short too. Shoot.
I think you're supposed to say height
Before y'all leave, the employees leave, I just want to say this, and I know the commissioners might want to say something too. I just want to say thank y'all. Thank you for what you do for this county and for the citizens of Baldwin County. It means a lot, especially the attaboys, you know, and so thank you. And I'm glad that we're able to recognize y'all, and you deserve it. And when I worked for the state, them things happened, and I'm glad that the counties do that and the cities do that. So thank you for what you do for the county and the employees here, or for the citizens of Baldwin County. Anybody else who wants to say anything?
Oh, absolutely. I look at the list of names here in front of me, and I see you guys actually, when you come in, we don't get to always see all of the employees, and so it's such a privilege to have you here. And to have citizens from the public send in, you know, accolades of our employees means a lot. It means so much. And I also wanted, I mean, every one of you, I've heard every great thing you said, but Brittany, with what you've done with the employee fun day, I am so thankful for that. I remember I don't know if you were working here when we first started talking about it. Was she here? I can't remember. No, but I remember Deidre being down there at Central Annex, and I was like, you guys have got to do something, and they took it and ran with it, and last year especially, it was at the Coliseum. It was so good. I hope that more and more employees will come to that and enjoy that, because that is for you guys, you know. And Della, my mom was a custodian, and so I have a special place in my heart. I would go help her sometimes at the school board, and she cleaned, and so that's a big part of my life, and it reminds me of my mom when I see you guys, so thank you so much. And Martin, where's he at? Martin, man, I just love that animal shelter. I'm so thankful that you guys love your job. Do you speak Spanish to the dogs? Okay. Especially y'all probably don't get many Chihuahuas, do you? And Christy, I know how smart you are. I've heard from so many people, and as a fellow accountant, I appreciate you being a mentor, because I don't know if knowing what I know about accounting now, I'd want to go into it. But, Patricia, and being new to this county and embracing, especially up in the northern part. So thank you so much. There's so much to learn. I've learned so much about the highway through the highway guys. They don't know how much they've impacted me. I go places and I look at asphalt and stuff like that. They know it. Well, the ones I talk to know it. They know they've really changed me. So, DJ, I am so happy that you are doing what you're doing. It's something that we have needed so much, and to see how much money we spend of our taxpayers' dollars on the vehicles and the fleet and all. We've needed that management so much. And then my screen just went black. Sarah, is that the last one?
Yeah, probably.
Sarah, I remember you came to work temporarily during Hurricane Sally. Is that correct? And you've just been a shining, always smiling. Thank you so much. So I appreciate you guys so much, and I'm thankful for the supervisors who have recommended you, and hopefully the morale and the mentorship will just continue to get better and better. So thank you.
Thank y'all for everything that you do. Much deserving of these awards today, and you doing your jobs and getting the recommendations and awards make our jobs a lot easier. Commissioner Davis always used to say we're just a small piece of this big puzzle that we've got here, and y'all doing your job and getting accolades and definitely having the public acknowledge the good duties that you're doing make our lives a lot easier during some trying times. So thank you for doing everything with excellence, and thank you for making Baldwin County the greatest place to be. So thank you.
I just want to again say thank you so very much for what y'all do. You know, it's when you got people that realize it and see what you're doing, you know, it makes a big difference. You know, it's heartwarming to me, you know, that the accolades that y'all receive from the public and from your peers and supervisors as well. You know, it shows that we do have the best employees in Baldwin County. And I want to thank each and every one of y'all for everything that you do. You know, it's not an easy task. So thank you so very much.
Thank y'all again. I'll give them a few minutes, let them, anybody that wants to leave for the next public hearing. Before we get started on the public hearing, there's some key points that I want to kind of tell everybody in the crowd. And is when you come up to speak, you have 3 minutes. If you're here to speak on a group, you have 5 minutes. Please identify the group that you're speaking on behalf. Stay on topic. Be respectful of others. Maintain decorum. Avoid excessive gestures, loud outbursts, stuff like that. We got to be respectful. Be factual. Base your comments on accurate information and personal experience. And stick to the allotted time that I give you, okay? Because I will cut you off at 3 minutes. In the past, I have been lenient and let you go over, but we got a big crowd today, and we want everybody to have their time and to speak. So just want y'all to be aware of that, okay? So thank you. All right, the first thing is environmental management, Baldwin County Comprehensive Solid Waste Management Plan. Ms. Terry?
Good morning.
Morning.
So in August, we came before you and told you that it was time for the county to update the solid waste management plan. That's something that the authority has taken over for you guys. Just so a little background, we did do an RFQ in 2001 for the building of the recycle facility. As part of that RFQ, we asked them to update the solid waste management plan for us as part of that process. So Labella and Associates has worked with us to update that plan. He'll go over this a little bit more, but the solid waste management plan is for the county as a whole. All 14 municipalities are part of our plan unless they opt to not be a part of the plan. So as of this point, we reached back out to them yesterday. They didn't have any questions. Everybody wants to be a part of the plan, and we've had no citizen comments. But I'm going to let Phil Davis with Labella and Associates come up. He's going to do a short presentation. We're going to have the public hearing if we have any comments, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
As Ms. Graham said, I'm Phil Davis with Labella Associates. Again, just a brief presentation. I don't know, I think Mr. Gruber was here back in 2014, but I don't know if the rest of you were here 10 years ago when we did this before, so.
We were not.
We were not. We were not.
All right, so why are we here? State law requires that ADEM, the Department of Environmental Management, develop a state solid waste management plan, and that each local jurisdiction with authority over solid waste management within its authority develop a plan. So that's each of Alabama's 67 counties. Municipalities have the option of either participating into their county plan or opting out and developing their own plan. Here in Baldwin County, as Terry said, all 14 municipalities have elected to participate in the county comprehensive plan. And so that's not unusual, but it does, I think, go to just the cooperative spirit that we've seen here in Baldwin County over the last several years related to solid waste issues, be it the new recycling center, or be it landfill, other things. There's a really good partnership amongst the different entities. And I won't talk about the difficulty in getting local governments to participate with each other. So I think you should be commended here in the county for those efforts. So, as I said, the state solid waste plan is done on a routine basis. It was just updated by ADEM earlier last year in April. It was approved and went into effect in October. The current Baldwin County plan was approved by ADEM in February of 15, adopted by the Commission back in January of 2015. And so there was an amendment done in 2023 for a couple of specific things. And so we're here today to just go through this process of this new plan, the new renewal, if you will, of the plan. And we will be coming back to you in a few weeks for a formal adoption. So as Terry mentioned, this commission was notified back in August of this process. Prior to that, we had held a meeting with the municipalities themselves, just talking through the process, making sure that they were still on board with participating. We sent out surveys to each of the municipalities to get information to put into the plan. In December, we began the required public notice period. State law requires at least 30 days, no more than 45, so we are in the midst of that. Today is the public hearing. We plan to be back in a couple of weeks at your next meeting asking for formal adoption, and then we will submit that full package to ADEM for its final approval, and then it would be effective sometime early February. Usually that's just a formality. It doesn't take more than a week or so with ADEM for that approval process. Just a few key changes. Obviously, the big issue here in the county in the last several years and moving forward is the new materials recovery facility at the Magnolia landfill. We are also looking at rework of the transfer station here in Bay Minette. Obviously, one of the big things is just from an administrative perspective, we now have the authority in the county. And so incorporating that into the plan and what its roles and responsibilities are is a big part of that. The CHARM centers, the centers for hard to recycle materials that are going to be around the county, those are an integral part of the county's comprehensive solid waste strategy for this next year, 10-year planning period. And then also, one of the things that continues to be an issue is storm debris, vegetative debris. So we wanted to make sure that we had a good handle within the plan of how that would be managed moving forward. And so that's one of the big things that we have included in the plan. So again, we plan to come back to you on the 21st. We'll review the final plan. If there are any changes, as Terry said, as of this morning, we've not received any public comments, but obviously that's why we're here today, to get any comments and any written comments that may come in before the close of the comment period. We'll make any revisions as necessary based on those comments. And then once adopted by the commission, we would then submit that to ADEM for formal approval. And with that, if there are any questions, otherwise we'll listen to the public.
I don't have any questions.
Good.
No, I don't have any. Is anybody signed up to speak on this, on the, what are we talking about? Solid waste?
Plan.
Open the public.
Yeah.
Yeah, open the public hearing.
All right, I'm gonna open up the public hearing. Anybody who wants to speak on the solid waste that didn't sign up? Okay. Close the public hearing on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. All right, next is planning and zoning. I've got a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'll keep my comments brief this morning. As you all know, we've been going through this process with the subdivision regulation amendments for about a year now, or a little over a year, once we started the process late last year. If you recall, we had a public hearing on October 1st that we had a lot of comments about. The item was tabled until today's meeting. We, as a response to that, the comments we received on October 1st, we did hold a work session on November the 14th, and we received written comments on the subdivision regulations from October 2nd through October 31st, and at the November 14th work session, we did go through in detail each one of those comments and how we would address them. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go through those again because that was a pretty long list of things, but I did provide you all a summary in your staff, your packets with the staff report of how we incorporated all those comments into the regulations. But just briefly, I'll hit a couple of high points. All the review timeframes that were discussed during the work session that put some requirements to give staff a certain amount of time to review certain elements of application and review processes. Those were all incorporated. I think that was a really good addition to keep things streamlined and keep things moving quickly. The family exemption requirements, we left them as currently adopted, so we did not make any changes to those, with the exception that we did clarify that grandparents and grandchildren are considered immediate family members and would be eligible for an exemption through that process. That was a clarification that needed to be made. All of the gravity sewer requirements that we discussed in length at the work session, we are not going to require any of the gravity sewer as a mandate. It would just be up to the design engineer to design their system with the utility company. The open space requirements that we discussed were updated and clarified. We changed the method of calculation to tie it to lot size and density, which I think is a really good way of calculating required open space. and really accomplishes what we're trying to do with the open space requirement. The street tree requirements for new developments was removed. There was a lot of discussion about that and how it could possibly conflict with underground utilities. So we removed that requirement. But the buffer requirements and things like that were left in because that's what the comments that we hear on a regular basis at Planning Commission and County Commission meetings is requiring buffers for new developments. A couple of clarifications that we made. There's been a lot of variances required to the highway construction setback section. And really it was due to there was an old policy in place that was in the regulations that went above and beyond the state law requirement for the highway construction setback. So we modified that to clarify that to be in line with what the state law says and eliminate some of these unnecessary highway construction variances when it comes to like fences and walls and things like that should not be prohibited in that area. We did also clarify in the section when it comes to wetlands that if there's impacts to wetlands or any kind of jurisdictional determination, that will be handled by the Corps. That is the proper place to handle that jurisdiction. So we have clarified that as if a development's coming online and they have wetlands on site, that they need to work with the Corps and then come to us to work through the wetland, the review process. The LID standards, which is the low impact development stormwater standards that we discussed in length, we clarified that to say that it's as simple as if you have demonstrate that you have a 1-inch runoff rate reduction from pre-development runoff, and you're removing 80% of the total suspended solids, the sediment from the stormwater, and 50% of the nutrient loading, you do meet the LID standards and are allowed to go to the smaller lot size if you're meeting those standards. I think there's a lot of different ways that can be documented, but we'll leave that up to the design engineer to how he wants to document. We gave him some options on things, some ideas of how to document it properly, but as long as they're documenting that they are accomplishing those three things, they will have met that standard. So with all those things, we incorporated all those comments that we went through on the 14th. And if you remember, we had some stated goals of what we're trying to accomplish with the subdivision regulation amendments, and we are certainly doing that. We're definitely upgrading and strengthening our regulations, but streamlining our review process. We have updated and kind of modernized our stormwater management requirements. And updated our open space requirements. And more importantly, there was a lot of text cleanup and clarification. There was a lot of very unclear things in the current regulations that we were able to clean up and make very clear of what's expected and what we want to see to manage growth in the county. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Commissioner, you have any questions? Commissioner Ball?
No, I've exhausted you enough.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for doing it and meeting with us and going over stuff. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Sure.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you're streamlining and helping the staff determine where one person interprets it one way and then somebody interprets it a different way, and then it's confusing for the citizens. So I'm glad that you're working on that, getting that fixed.
A lot of those clarifications, all our checklists will be updated, so there'll be a lot more consistency in review. So no matter who's reviewing it, it's very clear what's expected and what meets the regulations and what doesn't. So a lot of that confusion that's happened in the past will go away.
All right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
All right. All right, I'm going to open up the public hearing. I have several people that want to speak. The first person is Judy Smith. Miss Judy Smith.
Good morning, I'm Judy Smith. So I've had the opportunity recently on a project that we have coming up to meet with staff, and it was a great opportunity to learn where everything is coming from, and I truly appreciate where all of this started and what their intents are. There are a few things that I believe can still be modified or help improve. One of the concerns I have is the 60-foot right-of-way that is required on lot sizes that would be if it's a 60-foot size lot, they're requiring a 60-foot right-of-way. I believe the intent is because of complaints of parking on the roadways, that this would make that improvement. The concerns of that is not only will, of course, as the developer, we would be responsible for making those improvements, but after 20 years, all of that is going to come to the county for maintenance and upkeep. So you're increasing the county's cost in maintaining those roadways, the additional asphalt and the additional concrete. I also have concerns of how in design this would work when you have varying lot sizes. The 60-foot right-of-way is not required on the larger size lots. Also, I believe it would encourage more people to park in the road. My preference would be to, human nature, it seems like you would end up parking in the roadway.
I don't want to interrupt you, but
sure.
I need clarification on what you're just saying, because that's conflicting with what's in my brain.
It's my understanding that there is an alternative typical roadway section that is required.
We'll get that clarified by our engineer in a little bit, but go ahead.
You still got it.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So to me, this would encourage off-street parking and also increase speeding. So what about an alternative of possibly increasing a building setback line, which increases the area for someone to actually park on their own property? It's not reducing your tax base, it's keeping the ownership of the property with a citizen that's going to be paying property taxes. So that was one of the concerns. Maybe there's a different way to handle that instead of just increasing a road. The other concern is the open space. It's a great idea, and I truly appreciate that, but as a taxpayer, what happens when...
I'm going to give you 10 more seconds because we interrupted you, so
Okay.
go ahead.
So just on open space, basically that's going to reduce the ability of the property taxes. When you add a home to it, you get a better property, increased property taxes that are going to be paid than on open space. So it reduces the revenue.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Judy. Michael Taylor?
Hey, I am representing a group. I'm the immediate past president for the Baldwin County Road Builders, but I probably don't need the full 5 minutes. So anyways, appreciate you guys. I spoke at the last meeting, the work session, and after sitting through that meeting, I left there with the burning question of the cost of this, economic cost, cost burden to the development, to the developers, and nobody could really answer that question of what the cost is. I can't answer it. I know you guys can't answer it. Planning Commission can't, Planning and Zoning can't answer it. So what I suggest to you guys, and do with it what you want, is when I left here, I called Dr. Reed Cummings over at South Alabama, who is fully capable to help understand cost. And he's willing, I spoke with him, so he's willing to help get a grasp on it if you guys are willing to reach out to him and ask for help. So when you put in this amount of sweeping changes, which needed, may not be needed, whatever your take is on it, doesn't really matter. Whenever you put this much change into place, it is going to change something. Things are going to change, costs are going to change, and we need to understand what we're doing. So I'm of the opinion that we need some help. We need to help understand before you say yes, fully understand what it is that you're saying yes to. So I'm not saying that you will say yes or will say no. All I'm asking is that you fully understand the cost, economic cost, as well as fiscal cost to the end user, of what these changes represent and what they're the effect of them. And that's all I simply ask, is that you fully understand what you got coming down the pike. So that's it. Thank you, guys.
Now, thank you. Luke?
Mr. Chairman, I'll forgive you on the last name because we don't get
Yeah,
too
I
many
couldn't read it.
Polish last
I'm
names
sorry.
in this neck of the woods.
You're an attorney too, aren't you?
I am technically, but I try to stay out of the courtroom. I'm a little bit more comfortable here. But members of the commission, thank you all very much for the opportunity today to speak to the proposed Baldwin County subdivision regulations. My name is Luke Kisla. I'm Government Affairs Director for Mobile Baykeeper, a 501c3 organization founded to defend and revive the health of the waters of coastal Alabama. And I'm here to speak in support of the regulations as currently proposed before this body. The proposed regulations make improvements in preserving water quality, ensuring adequate utility service, and maintaining healthy communities and a high quality of life. I understand that these proposed regulations address other areas involving subdivision development, but Mobile Baykeeper is focused on those provisions that relate to water quality and human health issues. The proposed regulations as they stand today will help protect wetlands from destruction, address stormwater runoff to natural water bodies and neighboring properties, and help prevent the many complications that can arise from inadequate utility service. The proposed regulations, and this is probably my favorite part of this, they address it at 3 levels. The first one is much more advanced work on the front end, such as verifying utilities that they can provide an adequate level of service, more detailed plans of the application stage, especially for stormwater and low-impact development, demarcation and signage on wetlands, including those natural buffers, and a prohibition on clearing of land until approval is given. The regulations would ensure minimal environmental disruption during the construction process through revised requirements, such as those mandating best management practices and increased wetland buffers rather than just relying on building setbacks. And the regulations provide for more follow-through to make sure everything gets done, such as giving specific requirements for management and maintenance of stormwater facilities and accountability. An additional advantage of the proposed regulations is how they seek to foster improved environmental stewardship through the incentivization of those low-impact development strategies, and that means working with developers at each proposed subdivision to seek an optimal balance. I think the key word throughout these regulations, and we heard this brought up earlier, is clarity, both for the citizens of Baldwin County who are concerned with the environment as well as the developers who are meeting the demand for more housing in Baldwin County because it's a great place to be. I understand that the revisions since the last vote of the Commission reflect that desire for clarity and should aid in the implementation of these regulations. The Baldwin County Commission, y'all have a tough job. Y'all have a tough balance to seek with environmental stewardship as well as the demand for more people to live in this wonderful place, and you're one of the fastest growing areas in the nation. And that's been evident through the process of revising these regulations and working with everyone at the table to seek that proper compromise. These proposed regulations are not the end of that task, but that's how it should be. When we stop trying to seek that balance, that's when we surrender every chance that we have to reach that optimal balance. So these proposed regulations, I think they're a strong move in the right direction, and I understand that the Commission is committed to trying to seek that balance with every step along the way. We're not alone in seeking this. We circulated a petition over the New Year's holiday, very short time frame, people away from home, and received over 430 signatures to that effect. That reflects the viewpoints of many more. Mobile Baykeeper, in summary, believes these regulations will advance the health of Baldwin County's waterways and communities, which is a strongly held priority of everyone who lives here. For that reason, I humbly urge you, the members of the Commission, to adopt these regulations as they are proposed before you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vince Emmons? Vince?
Thank you. Thanks for letting me speak. I'm Vince Emmons with Berkshire Hathaway Cooper Real Estate. And I see we marked out some of the manufactured home rules and regulations where you were requesting sketches instead of engineering drawings. But what I represent the group on Highway or County Road 26. You know it is Michigan Avenue and Foley. That park's been there for 40 some years. It's 16 acres. I have it under contract, and they're going to enlarge it. So a lot of the things here, what I'm proposing is, can I just provide a complete drawing for the whole park, rather than what they're asking for now as a sketch as you move? There'll be additional anywhere from 35 to 40 more units on that piece of property. Water and sewer is there, electric's there. That whole area, that Foley area out that way has been expanding, as you probably have witnessed. But a lot of my questions I see on the new ones have been scratched out, so they rewrote that part, I'm assuming. And my other question is, how fast, if this all passes the way you're going to vote on it today, how quick can I get an acknowledgement that it did pass? I haven't not done one before. If y'all vote today to pass what's been written in the new book, how many days from now will I have an acknowledgement that it did pass? Is this something that happens a week from now or 2 weeks from now?
Jay,
No, sir. If the commission passes it today, it will become effective today.
That's what I needed. Certainly, thank you. I do a lot of this, by the way, in large plants, and I want to tell you, the engineering on this is excellent. Somebody spent a lot of time and effort in this, and it's addressing Baldwin County is an ungodly growth area. And manufactured homes, I don't like to use the word mobile park, but manufactured homes is a place, it's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. It's coming.
Yes.
So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Maria Marks.
Hi, my name is Maria Marks, and I just had a couple questions as a resident in an HOA, POA. First of all, are these new amendments going to impact current HOAs or just, no? Okay. Okay. And does it impact property owners associations as well as homeowners associations?
It's new. Those are interchangeable POAs.
You find those to be
HOAs
interchangeable?
As far as, but it's only future development. This is not retro.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Jay? Okay. Want to make sure. Tell her something wrong.
Teach you something.
Yeah, you teach me. Ms. Jerry?
Thank you. Would it be possible to have staff pull up section 4.5.1, section H, preliminary plat application procedures and requirements, pages 32 and 33?
Can one of y'all? Brian, can you help her?
This is what you
Help me?
highlighted and gave to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
While they're working on that, I just wanted to go back just for a moment. At the October meeting and the November meeting, we spoke and addressed the requirements for sewer and the new subregs. We also submitted letters and addressed the issues that we had with these requirements. And we appreciate the responsiveness from staff and from the commission. Thank you very much for that. But our concern today is that half of the issues that we had are still included in the subregs in the exact wording they were originally. And I can read them for the sake of time, and I guess that's what I'll do. It says, this is paragraph 3, under section H. If sewer is not currently adjacent to the site, provide engineered plans showing the proposed sewer main extension required to serve the proposed development. Paragraph 4, if this information is not sufficient to determine the provider's ability to serve the proposed development, the planning director, county engineer, or designee reserves the right to require a detailed engineering study to evaluate the ability to adequately serve the proposed development. These requirements are at the preliminary plat stage. 95% of the time, the developer doesn't own the land. At that point, nothing has been finalized. If DOT requires a turnout, and that's going to be in the right-of-way where we were going to extend our line, that'll change the engineered drawings. I was told this morning that that wasn't the intent, but our concern after further consideration is that that's not what it says, and if it says engineered drawings, our interpretation of that is in fact engineered drawings. I appreciate the sentiment that that's not the intent, but we don't want to get started with, the regs that are inaccurate based on intent or our understanding, and then we get to a point where there's confusion between us and the developer, and we have unneeded delays or unnecessary associated costs. So we would respectfully request, if at all possible, and again, emphasis on respectfully request, if we could just clarify this language so that the intent is accurate with the actual words, so that there's no room for misunderstanding going forward, so that we get started at the right place, so that we can all be in lockstep going forward. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm going to have Jay come up as soon as we close the public hearing and let him speak on.
Okay.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak on the subdivision regulations amendments? That didn't sign up, that did not sign up?
I did not sign up.
Ma'am, you come first,
Thank you, sir.
and then I'll get you, ma'am, next.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Please state your name and
Yes, my name is Christine Sy. I live in Spanish Fort.
okay.
I am in support of these regulations. I think this is a wonderful step forward, again, a step. But I would like to just make a comment, and I'm going to read it in the interest of my 3 minutes. As many of the residents of this county have seen, the development and in some areas, the seemingly overdevelopment of residential areas has significantly strained existing infrastructure, most notably seen in our congested roadways and overcrowded schools. Other challenges we may face if residential development continues at its current pace include overloaded water and sewage systems, insufficient power grids, and potential environmental damage, ultimately impacting the quality of life for existing residents due to reduced accessibility and increased strain on services. Many of us moved here from larger cities drawn by the slower pace of life and the easy access to parks, beaches, and other recreational activities. As a daily visitor to the Bayfront Park and Village Point Parks in Daphne, over the last 10 years, I can attest to the significant increase in foot and vehicular traffic at both locations. While I am delighted to see more folks getting out and enjoying our parks, and most of this increase is positive, the increase in litter now routinely found on our trails is not. The increase in drug use evidenced by the heavy aroma of pot, which now often pervades the previously fresh air, and the occasional very obvious drug commerce in the parking lots are also new additions to the park. This brings another concern. With the increased development comes increased population, as we've discussed. Even if rates of crime or needs for emergency services remain at current rates, the increase in population will require increased needs for such services. Will our services, such as police and fire department, be able to keep up with the increasing numbers of new residents? Like most of us here today, we love this community. We love the quality of life it affords, and while we recognize that others would like to enjoy it as well, we ask only very respectfully that the county take these issues into consideration as it moves forward in managing the growth of one of the fastest growing counties in the South. As the coroner stated earlier, we must prepare thoughtfully for the population increases. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, you want to come speak? Can you get there?
I'm Susan Bracken, 12351 High Plains Drive, Loxley. I first want to thank everyone who worked and put time in to address the issues that have needed to be changed or included in the subdivision developer's process. You've addressed many ongoing issues residents are currently experiencing at present time. One issue that needs to be included is notification of adjoining property owners of zoning or rezoning of properties. No certified letters are being sent to many. Also, no signs are being posted of annexing, rezoning, and zoning. Certified letters and signs should be paid for by the property owner or the developer. It's my understanding that cities run out of these signs, so none are posted, and and the AP owners only find out when trees are cleared and construction has begun. It comes to them as a surprise. Also, the local city planning commissions have no idea of what each other are doing. It came to my attention with the East Fish River subdivision that we're getting 750 houses, and we also have Loxley has approved an 850 Deerfield subdivision. And when I inquire as to do these planning commissions know of what each other are doing, they pretty much don't have any idea of the number of houses that are being approved to be built. I do agree with all of the changes and additions made to the 159-page subdivision amendments. I've read every one of the 159 pages, and I agree with everything that's been added and everything that has been removed. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that didn't sign up? All right. Close the public hearing. Jay, you would come up?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll address a couple of those comments real quickly. The first comment regarding the 60-foot right-of-way requirement. So there was, each month, as development reviews are having public hearings, the Planning Commission members bring up when you have more dense development that has 60-foot lots and pretty dense development, there's a lot of parking concerns for that many units that close together. So the way we're proposing to address that, because a lot of the times they'll want to add like remote parking lots and different things, which is not a good idea for a neighborhood. That's not going to solve anything. It's just going to make more impervious surface that won't be used. But the approach is having a wider street section for those more dense streets. So if you have anything less than 80-foot wide lots, you would have to go to a 60-foot right-of-way. And the reason for the 60-foot right-of-way is to accommodate a wider street that would allow informal on-street parking. Because people are going to park on the street whether we provide space for it or not. So when we have these more dense developments, it's a better practice to provide them space to do it. The comment was accurate about the concern about potentially increasing speed on those streets, but there's other ways that you can do traffic calming during the design process, and we can work through that with the applicants during the sketch plan review and during the design process. They can add bulb outs at the intersection and doing things to narrow the street at certain points that allows the on-street parking to occur. If it does occur, it allows traffic to still pass, but bring the street in more narrow at certain points so people don't get too much speed going through there. So there's a lot of very easy way through the design process to accomplish that. The second comment about the mobile home park process, there was a lot of rewording in that. We're not prohibiting any mobile home parks. We did a lot of clarification in that section. Those are all done through a planned unit development process. And it's up to the applicant. They can bring in sketch plans and PUD site plans by phase or as a whole and show us the phases. There's a lot of ways that they can go through that process. We work through that with applicants on a daily basis. So that will kind of remain a very similar process going forward. I'll answer the two other quick ones before we talk about the sewer. The notification of adjacent property owners was just brought up. The state law is very explicit of how we have to notify adjacent property owners, and for different types of applications require different notification processes. Some of them require certified letters to be sent to adjoining property owners. Some of them require notifications to be posted in, like rezonings have to be posted in the paper and publicly notified for the public hearing. So we follow the state law on how that's done, just like all the cities follow the state law. And part of that process on some certain application is posting a sign on the proposed development property, which we do on a monthly basis for all developments. The other comment about coordination between the cities, as staff, we do a lot of coordination with the different cities. The two developments that were mentioned were actually both inside of city limits. One was in the city of Daphne and one's in the city of Loxley. But we do a lot of coordination with the city departments so we could all understand what's going on certain corridors, so we're coordinating very, very well together. In addition to that, any development, even if it's in the city, if it's accessing a county road that the county still maintains, we still have to go through a review process and a driveway access permit for that development. So we do have some input. We don't really have a lot of input on the development inside the property, but how they access our roads and how they do that, we are involved in that portion of it. And finally, the sewer requirements. Mr. McManus I have the section pulled up now. It's kind of hard to read on the screen. But the statement says, if sewer is not currently adjacent to the site, provide engineered plans showing the proposed sewer main extension required to serve the proposed development. Keep in mind, this is at the preliminary plat stage. We don't have full design plans of anything at that stage. What we have is, from a drainage standpoint, we have a drainage concept plan and a drainage narrative. We have, what we're asking for here is a utility plan, and they're saying, show us how you're going to serve this development, and if there's any expansion needed, show us what has to be expanded to be able to serve it. And the reason that's important is we need to properly condition a development. So if an expansion or something has to happen in the utility system to be able to properly serve the development, we need to place a condition on that approval saying this is approved subject to X, Y, and Z occurring. And so we want to be very clear on what is needed from the developer and the utility owner to say, this is what we have to do to serve that development so we can properly condition it. And really the wording of that is intentional of engineer plans, because what we want is the engineer of record for the development to work closely with the utility provider to provide, so the engineer of record can provide us a plan that they and the utility company have come to an agreement with, saying we're going to do these things to serve this development, and put it on just as a map, basically one plan sheet saying this is what we're going to do, and give us a description of what that is. And so that's when we say engineer plan, we're just saying the engineer record needs to submit that along with this drainage information, these other things that do come in at preliminary plat. So it's not in any way, because we don't have any kind of full design construction plans at the preliminary plat stage. That all occurs at the construction plan stage. So I hope that would provide some clarification. Before the meeting, we shared with Mr. McManus our new checklist that explains exactly what we want with that. And I think it pretty clearly states what we're looking for there. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any more questions you all may have.
Commissioner?
We haven't run out of signs, have we?
Nope.
Okay, I check on those sometimes.
We have to order more occasionally. But.
Okay. One more comment I want to make on that, and I do appreciate your comments, I do, is the Metropolitan Planning Organization covers those territories that you were commenting about, and we work very closely. Matter of fact, the director is housed inside the county highway department in Robertsdale, and two of us are on the MPO, the Eastern Shore MPO, and we get an update regularly of all the housing starts and permits and everything. And I know myself, I even reach out to Loxley and Daphne because I get those phone calls from the citizens. And so I hope that maybe when people say things, they can get better at not throwing the blame game on someone else. Like, I'm not saying you, I'm talking about like one department onto another department, because that can even happen when somebody just walks into maybe one of our satellite offices. I had a call this week and I've discussed it with Frank, and I think you're going to be bringing it to you guys, of how that just someone asked a question of, why do you do this? Oh, well, the county commission decided to do it. It's not the way it is, And so I think we can all do a better job of the way we communicate, and I'm certainly one to say I need help with that and always working at that. But thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Commissioners, anybody else?
I want to thank staff, for going through this and getting it so that we can look at this and adopt it, because it is very important, that we adopt this so that we have a clear message of what we're expecting, I keep hearing the cost and cost and cost, but all we're trying to do is bring this up to a standard that all the other municipalities are doing already.
That's correct. Actually, we're still not as stringent as...
We're still not as stringent as what the cities are. So, I mean, and it would be wonderful, wonderful if we had one set of subdivision regulations for all of Baldwin County, including municipalities, with exception. They can have amendments to it, like if they want something, some amenity, want a little change here, they can do that. But, to have 14 different sets of regulations is not fun for anybody. So I just want to thank the staff for, what they're doing.
I want to piggyback off what you said, because this is probably the only thing that, bothered me in the whole process was just keep hearing how the commission was going to pass these costs on to the consumer. And now we need strategists to try to figure that out. This is just something that I studied myself. I did my own research on finances and what's going on in today's time. If you made $80,000 a year in 1990, you have to make $246,382 in the past year of 2024 to live the same life. Baldwin County Commission had nothing to do with that. I bought a house in 1998 for $90,000. Today, that same house is $375,000. It's almost a 500% markup in 26 years. We had nothing to do with that. Y'all need to figure out how to cut the costs. We've done our job. This staff has worked amazingly well and done everything that you asked. I heard somebody say, well, you got half of it done. Well, that's half as good as it was. So it's not our fault. We're behind the cities in our regulations. And I've gone to numerous council meetings. I never see people there talking to the cities about, you're jacking up the cost of the people who's living here. I've never heard somebody trying to make the county more money by taking open space away and putting a property there to get more taxes out of it. It's the first time I've ever heard of that today. So I'm just expressing my concerns and frustrations on the commission being the blame, because this is going to be your spin on things that when we adopt this subdivision regulation, you're going to tell the homeowner that it's going to cost X, Y, Z because the commission did something. I need the person from South Alabama to explain to me a 500% markup in the housing development world in 20 years. And y'all gonna say, well, those materials are more expensive. I get it. But it doesn't have anything to do with what the county commission does. I'm just speaking from the heart. I'm not speaking on behalf of this commission, but we all are getting beat up in public when we're going to be the bearer of the new cost incorporated with building a house. Jay, what's your representation on this jacking up the cost of a new home? Our new plan that we're developing.
Well, I think my opinion on it is that the market drives what the housing cost is. The reason the housing cost has gotten so expensive in Baldwin County is because people want to live here. And so housing is in a shortage because of the amount of people that want to move to our community, which is a great compliment to what our community is. But there's very little, in the subdivision regulation process. This is not like zoning where we're taking, doing different things that would take marketable property out of the market. This is talking about technical standards of how you do development. How do you do it responsibly, and how you do it in a sustainable manner. So we're not restricting the market supply. We're just saying as developments come online, they need to be done in a certain way to maintain that quality and that quality of life, the financial quality, but also the quality of life for the residents. So I think there's a lot of confusion on that matter. There's a lot of statements that are made that really would be more in line with if we were doing different zoning things that would be taking large pieces of the county out of the market for development, then that would be restricting supply, and that could affect supply costs. But subdivision regulations as a whole, really don't have a whole lot of impact on what that market cost is. The market's going to drive, just like if you look at what a market sells for just inside the corporate limits of Daphne, and you go across the street to a development that's in the county, two different sets of regulations, I guarantee you on the square foot price, they're probably almost identical. So I just think it's not appropriate for the subdivision regulations.
Well, one thing that Commissioner Ball said was inflation and interest rates. 4 or 5 years ago, I refinanced my property or our house. It was 3%, 2 point something. Now look at it. Mm-hmm. So it's not the county commission. So it's everything. It's more than just a county commission. Now, to be honest, I kind of wanted to see the gravity fed, in my opinion, in there, because I think that's going to help the citizens in Baldwin County. Now, that's a later date, and that's something we could talk about later. But, I just don't, I'm like Commissioner Ball, don't blame the commission up here. I heard that at the last meeting, and I was kind of disappointed, but I didn't say anything. But thank you, Commissioner Ball, for bringing that up.
And we also, when we were doing our strategic planning and stuff, we were, meeting with different people and definitely working with like Gateway and stuff like that. We were trying to come up with a word that replaced the word affordable housing. People seem to run away from that word affordable housing, directly going back to like a Section 8 type housing, and that's not what we were. So I replaced the word. I had made this up out of my mind that it could be called attainable housing. The only attainable housing right now in Baldwin County is RVs. Or a 150-year-old home that sits in town here that you can put some money in, get it for $60,000 or $70,000 and put $100,000 in it and fix it up. So at no point in time in the years of this commission prior to us that had anything to do with that. Not one single thing. The subdivision regulations has never changed. It has not kept costs down. Change, I wrote this down, that change is needed to improve and thrive. We have to change some things and get away from always doing the same old stuff. And the people, when we change, they'll learn to adapt to it. And, that's just my 2 cents on this ending of this thing, because I'm not going to be hesitant to extend this anymore. We got to vote on this today, and I'm ready to get it over with.
Thank you, Commissioner Ball. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
We don't need to do anything on the EL1, do we? The Baldwin County Comprehensive, because that's going to be next meeting, you said?
No.
So the only thing we have to do is have a motion for the ES1.
Okay. You ready?
Correct. Yeah.
I'll make a motion we adopt the amendments to the Baldwin County subdivision regulations as presented today.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor by signifying by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nobody. Is all unanimous? All right. Other staff recommendations? No. Let's see. Public comments. We've already done that. Press question. Any press questions? Any of the press want to ask anything? Commissioner comments? Commissioner Ball, you want to go first?
I'll let the senior
Go ahead,
Ruben go first.
Well, again, thank y'all, the staff, for what they do getting this agenda put together, and the planning department, thank y'all for the hard work that y'all put into getting our subdivision rules and regulations better understandable and make it so that we are moving, because they do change, as the growth changes, you have to have some changes to go along with it. You can't stay back in the 40s and 50s and do and thought what we was going to do was right. We have to keep up with the times, because more people expect different things. Some of the stuff that way back when you had 50-foot lots, and stuff like that. Those are just not adequate nowadays with the size of houses people want. So again, thank y'all for what you do, and that's all I have to say.
Yes, I'm the next most senior. We actually are in age up here, but next to the oldest. I just want to thank staff so much for persevering through this subdivision regulation overhaul. I didn't think it was going to be that big of an ordeal, because I love this place that we live in, and people come here because they love this place, and it's such a hard balance to balance between the different groups that I don't want anything to ever change. I don't want the government involved in this, but what is the government's role? The government's role is to protect people in some way possible whatsoever. It is for the health, safety, and welfare of people. And it took us longer to get here than I anticipated it would take us to get these regulations where we are. But it was needed and it is necessary. I was interviewed in Montgomery at the legislative meeting by Birmingham News. And that wasn't the Birmingham News, it was a CBS. And you never know what they're going to pick up. I know we got the media in here right now. I talked to them for 5 minutes and they picked up one little thing where I said, we're the best county in the state of Alabama. And you know what? We are. We are. Yeah. And if you don't claim it, then move. Go on back to wherever you came from. But if you don't like it here, leave. But you know what? Most people are liking it here. I didn't even realize we were up to 260. I've been telling everybody 253, so I'm a year behind. But anyhow, we have went from, the 2020 census, is that right? Yeah, 2020. We were like 231,000 people. Man, we've already jumped another more than 10% just in that time frame. So we are doing what we were elected to do, and that is to help protect, preserve the quality of life of the people of Baldwin County. And I appreciate the people who have showed up today in support of us, because we didn't have that the last time. And I appreciate the development community. I've got members of my family who work in construction. It trickles all the way down to everything that we do. We need both sides. And I think the word that Jay taught me recently was harmonious growth. We're not here to control growth, stop growth, any of that kind of stuff. I used to use the word responsible, but harmonious is what we need to strive for. And we need to get our facts straight. We work hard. When people tell me something that's wrong, I try to figure it out. And I appreciate the people who have showed up today from both sides of the whatever. But thank y'all so much.
Just thank everybody for being here. Thanks to staff for their hard work, especially on the planning staff with the subdivision regulation changes. And again, congratulations to all those employees that got those awards today. That was pretty good to see and start this meeting off with. So appreciate that presentation and all their hard work and dedication. And definitely appreciate working with this team up here, and don't have an easy job. So it's great to have y'all alongside to work with. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I guess I'm last.
You're not the youngest.
I know, I'm not the youngest. No. I just want to say thank you to everybody, even the contractors, everybody that came out and put their 2 cents worth in. It's nice everybody to come together. Is it perfect? No. Can we get it perfect? I don't know. But everybody getting together and putting this, because if you look back when it was amended, you could see all the years that it was changed over time, and that's a good thing. So we're seeing progress. We're seeing things that need to be changed. To the employees, thank you for what you do for the county. You're the backbone of the county. So thank you. And to everybody that's here, or if anybody that's listening, Happy New Year. Please be safe. Please remember the people in New Orleans. And just be safe out there. And Happy New Year. That's all I have.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, got a motion to adjourn.